Good morning, everybody. It's me, Christina. I'm here from Brown Coffee Company. I'm at the location right at the corner of Broadway and Grayson. I was actually looking up some information about this place, and they have some really good stories about travel and where they got their coffee from, so I'm really excited to try it. This morning I will be trying the Colombian espresso, so hopefully it'll be good. I'm still waiting on Stephanie to get here, but of course, as always, every Thursday we like to come and feature a coffee shop, locally owned, of course, or preferably because we like to support local and feature them, and just talk about our previous episode. I hope that you guys have had a chance to listen to episode. Gosh, is it 16 already? Wow, it's been 16 weeks we've been doing this. It's crazy, but we're really enjoying it, and I think our content is just getting deeper and deeper into life experiences and what we're going through or what we have gone through and how it's related to being confident and confidence. And so it's been a lot of fun, I think, for both of us, and very rewarding. I know most recently I've shared some more personal details about myself that I don't always talk about, but it's stuff that I feel like needs to be shared. I think that your story, like if you're climbing a mountain, like in life, if you will, metaphorically speaking, and you share your story, you might inspire somebody else, or you might just help somebody avoid certain situations and stuff. So we talk about, on our podcast, we talk about how things in life can affect your confidence, or how can it destroy it. And of course, we always try to help you come up with tangible skills that you can take away to build your confidence, because sometimes it's just, I think that you might be confident and you just don't know it. So it's really interesting for me anyway, going through this process and bringing these topics to y'all, because I've said it before, I feel like it's been therapeutic for me at times, because of what I've been going through. I've shared recently that I'm separated, and so yeah, it's like Stephanie's here. So we just share these topics because, like I said, we feel like there's stuff that needs to be, shared with y'all, and we hope that you can take something away and it can help you in some time in your life, even if it's not now. Like, I know sometimes we get, messages that are like, oh my gosh, no wonder when I was a kid I went through this or that, and things that you don't even think about anymore because, you're grown up already, and you don't realize that the stuff that you experienced growing up is still affecting you in your current life. So, or your parenthood, or your, being a wife, or what have you. Read this last episode, we talked about, Stephanie and her husband, and how they've partnered and how they've helped build each other's confidence, and not only confidence for themselves, but confidence in each other, so it's just every phase in your life you might deal with the lack of confidence, or, exude nothing but confidence. So all of our topics, are hopefully relatable.
Yeah, I think that I was listening to several of our podcasts actually on the way here, and just thinking about how we do talk about the times that we lack confidence. But I think in a way of being able to identify the lack of our confidence is a way how to build back our confidence.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, with talking about all of these things, all of these topics, is that we wanted to bring that to you as listeners and as our friends and as people who are seeking that, is to build your confidence back. In one point in our life or another, we are going to lack confidence. It's going to be inevitable, but it's about the comeback, right?
Yeah.
When
for sure.
you lack in those areas, and just how do you get it back? Because yes, it may be gone, but it's not going to be gone forever, and there are ways to get it back.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times you lack confidence because it's something unknown to you. So it's like when you're experiencing something new, or you want to take on a new challenge, you're not very confident about it, right? But then as you go through the process, like we shared early on in our earlier episodes, like with making goals and and working towards those, eventually you get, as you're meeting milestones, you're getting more and more confidence. So Stephanie, on a real personal, quick personal note, was training for a 50K. And she had to like meet certain milestones to be confident in that she can do that. Now I've decided to start training for my own 50K, and I wouldn't have been able to believe in myself had I not already ran a half marathon and a full marathon, and knowing what I need to do differently. And so I'm more confident now in myself and my abilities because I've already experienced these things. So I know that's just very like one area, right? Because we've gone through a lot of things, Can I borrow your phone? I'm gonna have to take a picture. Because guys, that's what we do. It's all for the gram. So, yeah, we're at a new coffee place. So we've been doing this. This is episode 16. We've probably have been doing the coffee thing for about 3 months. I know we missed like maybe 1 or 2 Thursdays where we didn't go live with you guys, but we feel like we have visited almost every coffee shop in town, but that may not be true because there may be some hidden gems that we just don't know about. So we really, really need you guys to help us. Send us some suggestions. If you are a coffee shop owner and you're watching this, invite us over.
Yeah, we definitely
we'd love to come out there and feature your location.
Yes, we love coffee. So this was, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like we really wanted to incorporate coffee in our podcast somehow. We thought this was a perfect way to do like a live to recap the episode, but also we love our city. We love showcasing businesses. We love all of that. And I know if you follow each of us on our personal Instagrams as well, I mean, we showcase a ton of local owned businesses.
Yes.
It's just, I think just loving on those communities and loving on those businesses is so important because of the fact that we want to show how special somebody is working on their passions, and it's nice to show that, and because that really does play into confidence as well.
Yes. Coming up soon, we're gonna interview a local business owner, and maybe even more coming up. But this one in particular, he is, I'm just going to tease real quick, he's a local coffee shop owner, and we were really like intrigued by his story, and we hope that, whatever insight we can bring you about him, well, also you can relate to. So, and we also partner with business owners outside of the podcast. We're part of a few Facebook groups, and one in particular, it's women, and we're supporting each other and through our business ventures. And you may not necessarily be a business owner, but you have some kind of aspiration to influence your community or make a difference in your community. And so we partner up with people like that. I know most recently my cousin Gabby, she's one of our faithful listeners, and she always checks us out here on the live. She's doing starting a nonprofit here in San Antonio, something she did in the Houston area. This is my little shout out, Gabby. It's called the Teen Life Center. Her being a teen mom herself, it really just helps give teen moms the tools and the skills that they need to still continue to be successful and to still continue to be a contributing person in your community. So I'm really excited to see her, bring this to fruition here in San Antonio. Awesome. I think it'll be awesome for our local teen moms, and I want to say parents. I wonder, because the title is Teen Life Center. I don't know that it's exclusive to just the teen moms. I mean, I'd like to believe that it's for the fathers as well. So Gabby, we'll be meeting up with you soon and help you with that as well. I think that it'll be very awesome to see, like I said, grow in San Antonio. So that's our passion, y'all. That's, when we come on here, we speak more from our hearts because we didn't come here with bullet points like we do on our podcast. No. So, and yes, the whole family unit, she says, it helps. So not just the mom. So that's awesome. And I'm just going to talk a little bit personal because I cut my hair a week ago, and this weather just not been good for a curly hair, short hair girl. Or even long hair, I guess. Stephanie's like,
I didn't feel like fixing my hair today, obviously.
I'm going to start taking that approach because I try and, well. We're going to have a rainy weekend.
Some days I feel good about getting dressed, and some days I'm just going to see what I can find that fits me in my closet.
You guys know Stephanie's pregnant, so we're going to just give her all the slack she needs. Because, I just love to love on pregnant mamas, and whatever she wants, she gets. And it's going to be a very rainy weekend. And on that note, my little Stephanie got some very bad news this week.
I'm still so sad about it.
Even though she has a plan B in the works, I think.
Yes, I don't know if anybody saw, but I did a live yesterday on my Facebook page talking about my 50K that I've been training for the past couple of months and why I won't be completing it this weekend. And so they canceled the race, and it was due to just for safety reasons. I mean, it's flooding in the area that the race is canceled at, or where the race was going to be held at. And so I was devastated. I was so heartbroken.
We were actually on the phone together when she found out. She was like, oh my God.
And like Julian had texted me and called me, and after that, like everybody was texting me and was like apologizing, and they felt so bad for me. And because I've been posting my journey about this, and this was something I really wanted to accomplish, especially before having my second baby. And so what I've decided is to run a 50K next weekend by myself if I need to. And I know a lot of people have said, maybe that was a blessing that it got canceled, maybe for whatever reason. And I told Julian, I said, do you think it was meant for me not to run? Like, you think I'm not supposed to run that? Do you think that's like a sign from God? Like, I shouldn't be out there. He's like, I don't know. He's like, it's hard to say. He's like, but even if you go out there, you're going out there with the mentality that you may not finish, and that was going to be your mentality going into the race anyways. And I said, yeah, that's true. Like, I'm going to be smart about it. Like, if I can't finish 32 miles, then I can't finish it. Like, it's not something that is going to be devastating to me where, it ruins my life. But it's something that I want to attempt. I mean, it's a challenge for me for sure because I'm pregnant, and so
I think that this way you're not time constricted, number one, and you really can do it at your own pace, at your own level, and you'll have more opportunities to stop and hydrate and get some nourishment in you. And if you do decide to do it here locally with friends and family, more people will be able to be there because having to travel for this race kind of could be a reason why somebody couldn't go to be there for you. So I think that's a really good way to look at it. I think that things work out anyway for a reason. For whatever reason, this race wasn't meant to be. So you'll have your official, unofficial first 50K. When I first set out, do you remember?
Yeah.
My first half marathon, I rested I just took too long to register, and it got sold out, and I was very devastated because I was really working towards being able to run a half marathon for my birthday last year. And turns out my local community, my run community rather, turned out for me like I could not believe. One of the local running coaches opened up his doors to his Sunday run and created a half marathon route for me. And my friends and family came and either ran the half marathon or ran a 10K or ran a 5K with me, and were there at the finish line for me. And so that was really, really rewarding. I don't think I would have rather had a first half any other way. And then I continued on to do 3 more last year. So it was just the boost I needed. So even though this might be your last long distance race for a little while, I think that having your friends and family being able to be more available this time, it'll encourage you when you do decide to train again. I think so anyway. But that's life, y'all. Like, that's what, and it's confidence building.
Yeah.
So she was probably like feeling like really disappointed, but then the amount of support she's getting and feedback has been very confident building, I bet.
Yes, I've gotten so much feedback. I woke up, so after I posted that live video, like I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like I asked for people's opinions and suggestions and feedback, and after I did the live, like I didn't get back on social media until like this morning when I checked, and I had like a ton of messages. Like I saw so many comments on there, and I was taken back by just how much support that I've been getting with this.
Yeah.
Because being pregnant, and doing things like this, like running, a 50K, I don't always get positive support, and it's nice to get the positive support from people who understand why I'm doing it. And I would hope that when I talk about challenging myself in the state that I am in, that people trust that I'm making a decision for safety always. For myself, for my baby. Like, I'm never gonna put myself in a position to be unsafe, like ever. So I would hope people trust that I'm making those decisions and those choices based off of that, and I'm not going out there just like not thoroughly thinking it through.
Yeah, this is not something like new for her, even though like she is 20 weeks pregnant. She's been a runner for longer than that, and her body will respond the way it's built to respond. And of course, like she said, we always use wisdom, and that's the thing that also you can relate to, like being confident, is that she knows what's good for her. Confidence, we told you, it's not what other people think about you, it's what you think about yourself. So because she knows her own capabilities and because she knows her own strengths, she's confident that she could at least train to do this and attempt to do this, and always using wisdom. And then once it doesn't feel right for her, she won't do it anymore. So, and that you can apply that to any aspect in your life, any way that, episode 16, we talked about relationships and confidence. Stephanie, like I said, talked about confidence in her marriage and how they build each other up, or, how her husband has helped her. Yes, girl, trust me, we've been there. We've been there. So whatever you need from us, we'll help you. Sorry, guys, sometimes we see the comments that y'all are making and we want to respond to you. So yes, if you've never ran a race and you want to train for a marathon, that's possible. That's possible. Yes. So yes, we're cheering you on, girl.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
and then I kind of gave my perspective on how being confident sometimes helps you walk away from an unfavorable partnership. It's really hard. And coming to those decisions, takes a lot of like determination within yourself and knowing what's healthy for you and maybe sometimes what's healthy for the other person. Like, I had to take a step back and come to the realization that I was becoming a person that I didn't recognize anymore. So I had to step away. And a friend of mine shared with me, right after we released that episode, I got to hang out with her on Tuesday, and she shared with me the guy that she'd been dating for a couple of months. She decided, you know what, it's not working out, and she was feeling really bummed about it, but she knew that what she was feeling wasn't right, and he wasn't a jerk, but she knew that he wasn't meeting her standards, and there were certain things that were kind of like, oh, you know what, I didn't like that. And I think it's an early enough to realize that before you get like totally. And she's like, and what I commended in her is that she didn't think about what could she do to change how she was being. Maybe that would, change him, because he was a nice guy, very good looking, very goal oriented and whatnot. But she knew that there were other factors that weren't matching her personality. So that took a lot of confidence. I said, you know what? It's because you're a confident woman. you know, she's a Zumba instructor, she's really cute, and, you know, and it's not all about that, but she knows that she had certain expectations and standards that were not being met, and she was able to like take a step back and, you know.
I think that's so important for people in a who are dating to recognize. And it's all, you know, like I talk with some close friends of mine, and guys actually will say, you know, I don't want to be a jerk and tell them that it didn't work out. I'm like, no, but you need to be honest. Like,
yeah.
If they take it as a jerk move, that's for them to deal with. Like, you need to be honest. And the same thing with women. Like, be honest about how you feel, and that's okay. Like, don't let anybody make you feel bad about your honesty with what you want. Like, I have some really close friends who are single, and they are dating. They're in the dating world, and dating, I can only imagine how complicated and crazy it is now. But I always tell them, like, be true to who you are. Like, don't settle for less if it's not what you want. It's not worth it, because then you settle and you get into a relationship, and then you're gonna get stuck, like just compromising. And the word that I used on the podcast was you bargain, you know, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be that way. You should be truly happy to be in a relationship. And yes, there is compromise. That is a very different point.
No two people are exactly alike.
Exactly.
But I don't know that you would actually get along with somebody who's exactly like you.
I don't know. And there are going to be ways to compromise, but you should never sacrifice who you are as a person, or what you do, or your values, or what's important to you for somebody else. Like, if it doesn't work, then it's okay to be truthful about that.
And you have your needs, and you have your feelings, and you can't depend on somebody else to validate those for you. Your feelings are yours, and they're true feelings. And, you know, do you need sometimes to take a step back and maybe, like I said on the episode, like, talk to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're in a marriage and you're just feeling like, you know what, we just can't get through this one thing, or we keep butting heads on this one thing, talk to somebody else, because sometimes it's you and your husband, like, you're just not, like, you're being stubborn sometimes. And if you talk to somebody who's like, hey, you know, somebody who's
going to be honest.
Like,
because we talked about friendships.
And some people just tell you what you want to hear.
And they're your cheerleader, which you need that sometimes. Those are friends that you need. You need those types of friends. But then you have your friends who are going to be brutally honest.
Your voice of reason, if you will.
And those are important friendships to have. And I think, you know, when you talk about, like, being able to reach out to somebody when you are maybe in the wrong, or you just don't know the answers to, or whatever the case may be, or you just need some more guidance in your situation. I don't always do that, like, and that's just my personality. It's very hard for me.
I think for the most part, I'm the cheerleader friend, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also like, if you really want me to tell you the truth, and sometimes I do have a handful of friends that I could just say, you know what, to be honest, this and this and this is what I'm thinking. May not be the right thing, but this is how I'm looking at it. And we've been able to do that for each other. What Stephanie does for me is question. Like, she makes me, like, really think, like, but why? But why do you do that? And I'm like, because she does that, like, with her life. Like, she analyzes everything. And I'm more like go with the flow type of girl. So
I am huge about that. But it's, a lot of it has to do with my background, like my degree, like what I have. And I've been trained to, like, think that way. So
and I'm an admin, so I'm a people pleaser. And whatever you want, you know,
that makes sense.
I just support, you know, I support.
I didn't think about that.
I remember one of my bosses, I quit on him because it was just, like, way too demanding, and it was more of a personal assistant job. And I didn't have a job yet, and he's like, you know, it seems like you're just going to be a worker bee for the rest of your life. And I said, it's okay. I like that role. I like being the worker bee. I don't need to be the queen bee. I don't need to be the person on top. Like, I'm just here to support you and help you get to where you're going. And I think that that's just my personality. Could be, you know, because of my career, or could be that's why I have the career that I have.
But I do think, though, that you've told me honestly stuff, but I think you, a lot of times, I know that you probably do this, and so do I. Like, you tailor your response to what your friend needs at that time. Like, I think we're so
like it's the truth, but I'm gonna do it like gently,
right.
not real.
Or
jerk.
maybe they need you to be the cheerleader right then and there in
Yeah.
that moment. So you're gonna be that person for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of with being able to identify like your friendships and
Yeah.
the comfort level you have with them first off, because there's been times when I've been brutally honest and it completely backfires on me, and I'm like, wait, I thought this was the type of relationship we've had, like I thought this was what you wanted from me, like, and it wasn't in no means to be ugly, but it just was to be honest. And so I think that it's a learning.
Yeah.
It's learning who your friend, like how your friends take things and what they need at that moment. And
I think it's the same thing when it comes to your like spouse and your partners. It's like, you know, sometimes you say things and it might hurt their feelings, and you're like, well, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings.
I get my feelings hurt all the time by Julian. And he's like, why didn't you mean it that
Yeah,
way? I'm
it's
like,
tough as this girl is, she's real sensitive at the same
super
time.
sensitive.
So maybe that's why I have to tailor my responses sometimes. I'm just kidding.
That is probably why. But
I'm
it's
like,
funny.
well.
It's funny to hear like people comment about how you are as a person, just because like you, and I think this is a good point to make, like with your confidence. You may think that you're in a confident place, that you do confident things, and sometimes being overly confident in a situation isn't always the best thing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have like your friends bring you back down, like, hey, like, no,
I think
like,
it's good to be a little bit vulnerable sometimes.
Yeah.
And because I think sometimes you learn more in certain situations. Like you come into a situation and you're like super confident about it, like, I don't need to, you know,
I can do this by
I can
myself.
do this.
I don't need any help.
Yeah. But then sometimes it's okay to be a little bit more vulnerable so that you can learn from somebody else and be open. And that's the same thing with relationships. Like, it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable. It's okay to, you know, let the other person like take charge sometimes. In prepping for our next episode, just to give you a tease, we talked about confidence. I read something about confidence versus dominance. And sometimes women, and it might be to protect themselves, become more dominant or want to be more dominant in a relationship. And they're like, well, I'm just confident. Like, no, really, you're just like being a bitch, if I'm being honest. Like,
Yeah.
you know? So you gotta like, and this is going to probably be something that we speak with our next guest, but you have to learn the difference between confidence and dominance, like in a relationship. You don't want to be the dominant person. I don't think anybody should be the dominant person. I think you should both bring 100% of yourself to the table. But when it comes to like power, like don't get on a power trip. I think like don't be that, in my own opinion. Like I just don't think that, you know, that's healthy for number one, for your husband, you know, or your partner. Like they have to be able to be who they are as well. And you might think that your way is the right way, but like I said, take a step back and really look at the big picture, which is really hard. And I get it, girls. I get it that we've been hurt and we want to like keep our standards like way up here. But are those realistic standards, or are they like just you trying to protect yourself?
That was me.
Which is, yeah.
That was me in the beginning of my marriage.
And it's hard to come to the realization that that's what you're doing. And
poor Julian.
you know, but Julian, like you said, is a very passive guy. You know, he's not real aggressive. He's very laid back. No real sense of, you know, urgency for anything, unless I'm sure it's something like he really feels strongly about.
Right. No, yeah. I don't want to say
But
that
I
it's a
think-
negative, but that's the way his personality
Yeah.
is, and anybody can tell you.
But I'm
that.
sure he had the strength that it took to withstand, you know, breaking your little shell a little bit.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
If he can deal with me, do not let him fool you with how strong he really is. I definitely give that man credit for dealing with my craziness, because he's just like, and he's put me in my place, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you hurt my feelings. Why did you tell me that?
But then you kind of like, oh yeah.
And then after I cry, I'm
nice.
like, that wasn't nice. I'm sorry.
It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us, and you know, I don't know. Like it's. I think there's a lot more to discuss when it comes to confidence and partners, and we're leading into a series.
One of the words that you used when you were sending me points and notes was the feminism. So I actually have a really good friend of mine who is a very strong speaker in regards to that, and I think that's something that I possibly want to maybe have her come speak on our podcast about, is just kind of that dominance role versus the femininity
versus masculinity.
Yes, and she's like truly good at that, and in regards to relationships, but in also regards to like different areas as women that we tend to put too much power into and not enough power into to make relationships work. So I really think I want to bring her on.
That'd be a good idea. That'd be good. Again, guys, we're going to go into this series of bringing people in. We're going to highlight local business owners. We're going to highlight men. We're going to highlight, fathers as well, because we talk a lot about moms and confident women, but we're going to highlight men as well, because I believe that men may lack confidence sometimes in their life, but sometimes it comes more naturally for them. So we'll explore that as well. And also, I know all of you watching and all of our followers have listened to every episode that we've put out. Come on,
we
guys.
know you have.
We know you have. And if you haven't,
Go back,
as the weather starts to clear up and you start to like lay out in the sun, put your AirPods in, put your headphones on, whatever you use. Take a listen, because I promise you won't be disappointed. And if you are, keep it to yourself. Just kidding.
Don't let us know or anybody else.
Just kidding. No, but we'd really like your feedback. And if you've listened to what we've talked about already, and there's something that has like just really stuck to you and you want more of that, please let us know. Because, everything that we're putting out there, we hope, again, that it resonates in you. We're offering this to you guys. It's been therapeutic for me to research this stuff, to talk about this stuff, to talk about my life. It has been like really opened me up a lot, made me more vulnerable, if you will, because we talk about social media not being the truth sometimes. Like what people portray isn't always like the truth about what they're really going through. And something Gary Vee recently put out there, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee or have listened to any of his videos, because he's really harsh, but he talked about judging people, and he talked about you don't really know anybody, and judgment is very final. Like there's some, there's maybe opinions that you can think about within yourself, but judging people is like no bueno. And I feel like maybe in my life, even most recently through my separation, I've been judged a lot. But I think that the more I open up about it, you might start to see me differently. So I hope that, I can continue sharing my story and maybe one day be able to like help somebody else. But what was for me may not be for you. So that's another thing. Like everybody has their season, so don't judge them.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
You may go through something in the future that somebody's going through now, and you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Mm-hmm. And I talked about how I used to do that, how I used to judge situations when I was younger, and then I tend to experience them later in life, and it's like, wow, it's like a slap in the face, like why,
Yeah.
But it brought me to the realization that I shouldn't do it.
And I never thought that I would leave my husband. I never thought that I would be the wife that leaves. But I'm telling you, there's a lot more to that. But I knew that I was becoming unrecognizable. I knew that I just was unhealthy, and perhaps, I wasn't the right person for this person. So that's my brutally honest moment. But guys, we're really excited. We say it every week.
Yes,
we
really
love
excited.
doing this. We really do love doing this. And the more people we meet, and the more people we're looking forward to like interviewing, it's just getting more and more exciting. If you don't listen to any episodes, if you're tired of listening to us, then listen to the ones where we have other people on here, because I'm promising you that they are very motivating, they're very inspiring, and they have taught us quite a few things.
Yeah.
The two moms that we interviewed, very different types of moms, very different from us, but we resonate with them because like we have, you know, one thing in common, and we have a passion, you know, for helping people. So listen to those episodes and the ones
and get
to
ready
come.
to listen to the ones that are to come, because we're gonna have some good stuff going on. So
enjoy the rainy weekend. I'm sorry, San Antonio, if you're local, and if you're somewhere where it's nice and sunny, send us pictures so that we can hate you. Just kidding. But send us pictures because we miss the sunshine around here. Like, it was nice for a little while yesterday.
Not when it's hot.
But oh man, running last night, I thought it was gonna be a cooler run. It got humid fast. I was like, literally, when I was done, I had black all down my eyes from my eyeliner because the sweat was getting so bad in my eyes, and my eyes were just like watering, and I just had like tears coming down, and I couldn't see at some points. I'm like, oh my gosh. I got back and the guys were like, hey, you have like black on your face. I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing. I'm glad I don't care. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so anyway, have a great Thursday, have a great weekend, and as always, stay positive and keep smiling. Bye guys.